Hey Capricorn, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your first half of July general reading here. So about your meditation, it felt very 10 of Pentacles, honey. 10 of Pentacles all the way, which is about ancestry, ancestors, personal legacy, familial legacy, leaving your mark, leaving your part of the world better than how you found it. It feels like that's very much on your mind. Because the first thing that I saw was, yep, Bilbo Baggins writing a Hobbit's Tale, which, was passed down to Frodo, and he, finished the tale, and feels very much about considering your own personal legacy. What are you here to do? What's going to be left behind once you're gone? You're really thinking about what your 10 of Pentacles is and looks like. And if you think about that as well, 10 of Pentacles is depicted in the Tarot by, 3 different generations. There's a grandparent there, and then, 2 parents, children, with even a dog. Of course, there's a dog. And, all amidst this backdrop of this familial home that you get the sense has been in the family for several generations. So again, back to that word of legacy. What is my personal legacy? Right? Why am I here? What is going to be left behind when I'm gone? How am I, improving, my bit of the world here? So it's really lovely. And again, I also about the story in terms of a Hobbit's Tale, right? What is my personal story, right? What are the stories that I tell myself? What are the stories that I want to tell my children? Do I want children? If I want children, where do I want to live? What does my 10 of Pentacles look like, right? It feels like you're considering like a lot. But it feels good. You know what I mean? It feels like you are tapped into and grounded within the earth sign that you are. And it's always really lovely to feel when a sign is embodying the energy of their home and natural element. That's always a good sign. So let's see what your animal energy is. But I like the way you're thinking. It feels, you're really thinking long term. But, around that, I also saw this energy of stillness because, of stillness. Because in order to consider these things, right, it does take a certain, because I saw Bilbo sitting with a Hobbit's Tale and sitting there, and that he's looking at a window and he's got his pen up and he's in between writing. He's just written something, he's taking a pause before the inspiration strikes and he writes again. It's that moment of pause and consideration that I'm tapping into. So especially if you've been in a place where you've been very active or doing a lot or very productive, or even not so, but there's been a lot going on internally or whatever have you, or around you. I feel like this is a time where you're being asked to just ground in, root yourself, be the earth sign that you are, and really take a moment to consider your next steps, right? I'm hearing, what's important to me? What do I value? Because that also gives a different spin on and perspective to how you spend your time. And I feel like that is going to be very much on your mind going into this month. How do I spend my time? With whom do I spend my time? Because it does feel like time is your most precious commodity at the well. I think that time is just hands down the most precious commodity, really, probably. But I feel like for y'all that's very much the ticket here. It's really very much how you're thinking, which feels like a very mature standpoint. Feels like a very balanced standpoint, and it's really lovely because there's been a lot of energy. Y'all are at the end of my readings for this round. It feels like there's been a lot of energy just about the personal point of focus and how to get through this moment to the next moment, and I'm living in the moment and enjoyment, and that's beautiful. It's been a lot about living in the present, being in this present, releasing what you can't control around the future, and so on. It's quite nice. I only have one more sign to do after this one. You are really the only sign that is really coming through as I am looking at and considering the future and the bigger picture, my role in it, right? What are things going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And I want to say to you that even thinking in those terms, it's not anxiety that I'm picking up on either. It's deep consideration. Like, it feels mature, it feels grounded. It also feels brave. Because there's this fear going on, understandably so, where it's like almost this fear to even think about the future because of what it might hold. But it's like you're really stepping into your power in a way, and you're going, no, I know what's up. I will consider the future because this is it feels like also I'm tapping into a group of you that have seen some things or seen enough to know that the only constant is change, and that's not going to keep you from considering, your legacy, your future, what you want, what your family unit looks like, what your home looks like, to really taking stock. And again, but it is a moment of stillness that I'm picking up on. So you got the Scorpion here, which I feel like Scorpios come through, or Scorpio energy comes through a lot in your readings lately. I feel like that's true. I'm really not surprised to see this, because let's talk about this. First of all, Scorpion, Scorpios are water signs, but this is within the element of fire, right? Which is imagination and inspiration and ideas, right? What also gives life to fire is air, which is about the mind and the thought patterns and the right? So it makes sense, right? When you think about it, when Bilbo sat down to write a Hobbit's Tale, or when a writer sits down to write something, right? The pen itself is the fire energy. It's that inspiration, right? The wands that they're using to write the story, or typing, whatever have you. But they're also embodying air, because they're using their mind as the engine, right? To fuel that. Mode of focus and creation there. So it's really lovely. Scorpion energy, let's talk about Scorpion energy when it is in alignment and out of alignment. It feels very important to talk about. The Scorpion only really stings people when it hasn't had enough time alone to process feelings and process aspects of, itself and its given circumstances that are not up for group discussion and group opinion. Okay? So if you're in a position where you've been feeling some things, or you really just need some time away from certain stimuli, especially coming, out of quarantine time, you could have been spending a lot of time with a certain person or persons, or even just in general, just feeling like you are now, it feels like you're in a point of processing is also what this feels like, right? Processing with an eye on the future. And so this Scorpion, it's really hearing to take some time. Bilbo, when he wrote Hobbit's Tale, it was not a group activity. He wasn't sitting in a writer's group asking for input from the, what do you think about this chapter? No, this really feel like you're being called to take some time within your own energy. You may have to manufacture that and go, hey, I'm going to go, out here into my, I don't know, garage, if you have to, you know what I mean? Like, take this time and just sit and consider and stare out the window. I know how that sounds, but that's how it's coming across. Now, if you are able to do that, the Scorpion becomes thus in alignment, and it's able to access a deeply seated place of intuition, right? From which you're able to make choices and decisions based on actual foresight, right? See how that works? It's really beautiful. All right, let's see what's going on for Capricorn for the first half of July. I'm in a new location this round, by the way. Lady Crow is living her vacation life over here. Kind of loving the switch up here. Oh, hi. This is of no surprise. The Magician. Or we talked about the wands and using your tool. Yeah, the Magician is the id. This is creation. This is using all the tools at your disposal to manifest. Why can't I talk? To manifest the life that you want. I feel like there's a message in that. I want to speed up. I'm being called to slow down. I feel like that's a message in there for you. This really is a time to just sort of let me process in the way that feels like it's going to take as long as it takes and look like whatever it looks like. And on the other side of it, it's going to set me up in a way where I'm prepared to move confidently into what I desire for the future. Remember when I said it? You have an eye on the long term here. What do I want? How am I going to leave the world better than how I left it? That's Magician energy too, as above, so below. Or, along with the infinity symbol here too, I'm hearing, the only constant is change. You're in a place of empowerment, and it feels really, really good, actually. You feel balanced. You feel like you're in a position where, it feels very independent, and it feels very, and I mean this in a positive way, it feels self-assured. It feels self-assured, but you are in a process of, or in a place of creation, right? And creativity, whatever that looks like for you. Some of you guys, gosh, I'm so sorry about that noise outside, by the way. Some of you guys could be artists, creators, but, for another group of you, this is really about going back to the script, to the book, to the origin point, right? And going, what do I want my reality to look like? What is my legacy? And working on the creation of that, right? At 8. What else is going on? Ooh, Major Arcana. Oh my God. Capricorn. High Priestess on the bottom here, which is the female counterpart to the Magician, which is using your intuition. The High Priestess emerges in the light side of the Scorpion, right? We were talking about that. So I'm obsessed that she's making a peek sees here. I like it very much. You know, you have the Hierophant here. You have another Major Arcana. Did I not tell you that you were coming off as very earthy? And it always feels like a good thing whenever, you know, a sign feels like they're at home in their natural element, energetically speaking. Hierophant is everything being exactly as it's meant to be. This is fairness. This is equality. Is that not a book? Like, this is like The Hobbit's tale, right? It's like you're writing your own story. You're thinking about what your own story is going to be. I'm seeing the picture of a photo album back when we had photo albums, you know, being passed down to children or you know, future generations, or there's something about that. What do I leave behind? I just heard the next great American novel, or the next, you know, the song, or, you know, my input, my influence. It's like leaving your mark. Feels very pertinent and important. The Hierophant is also the marriage key as well. Do you remember what I was saying about you may have to manufacture some of this Scorpion time, facilitate this time in your own energy around this? Yeah, I'm really getting that here. It does feel important. You know, you have Earth energy here too as well, as this represents Taurus energy, and I'm being called to talk about that briefly. You know, Taurus energy take their time. I mean, okay, there's all variations, of course. But for the most part, a Taurus in alignment can't and won't be rushed for the most part. If you think about a bull, right? A bull it's going to do what it wants to do. It kind of moves in the way that it wants to move. It'll have spurts of energy and moving quickly, but then it'll also meander across the, you know, the plains and graze, and there's all of this. And I'm really, really hearing to go at a pace that feels natural to you. It doesn't feel like it's going to be highly productive or feel good, back to the Scorpion, to push along at a pace. Even if it's a pace that you've been previously accustomed up till now, you're being asked to take a minute. See how this dude is sitting here? That's what you're being called to do, in a manner of speaking. Okay? I'm hearing Marcia Norman. Okay. Marcia Norman is a playwright, and she wrote a play called Night Mother. Marcia Norman has a quote where she talks about her writing process is coming through, where she would say, like, when she would write, how she would overcome writer's block is she would write, and then if she felt like the pen wanted to stop or her hand stopped moving, she just felt like a pause where it wasn't, the flow was interrupted, she would stop and read. And she would just read anything, right, and everything. And then so she would stay on the, you know, the creativity cardio treadmill type deal, and then go back to the writing, and then she would go back to the reading and writing and reading and writing, and it was that sort of flow that she worked within. There's something to that. Finding your own personal flow in this time of creation, creativity, and manner of thinking. Okay? Be willing to change up the schedule and go with this pace that feels natural to you. Go with it. It's about adaptability and flexibility. It really, really is. Okay. Ooh, did you know that this is the being on your own key? We have the Scorpion here, which is about alone time and feeling deeply and accessing intuition. Hi and hello. I want to point something out too. In the Scorpio key here, these are the lower chakras represented here. You know, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, right? The root chakra has everything to do with our stability, our foundation, how we make money, how we're provided for, how we provide for ourselves and others we love. You know, into the sacral, the seat of sexuality and expression, into the solar plexus, which is about the, you know, the base of our confidence. So this has to do with a lot of these human 3D aspects of who we are and how we move through the world. Right? And then you have Nine of Pentacles, which has, you know, a lot of the same colors in it, right? With the yellow and the red. So this is really lovely here. And then we have the grapes and the fruit of the labor. You know, this is beautiful because this is about, you know, it's entrepreneur energy as well, but this is also about being in your own energy, solitary enjoyment, and really allowing yourself to just enjoy your own company and really benefiting from the work that you do and have done. See the theme here, and I want to point something out. It's a bit cheeky, but I like it. See this one pentacle here? And it's one, right? 9 to the 1, it's 10. 9 plus this, 10 of Pentacles, right? I feel like this is a bit prescriptive in terms of, you know, this is the formula. This is the 10 of Pentacles. It's about taking time out to be in your own energy, nurture your own garden, get one with your own thoughts. It is going to require some solitary energy on your point that you may have to manufacture, right? But within that comes a, you know, a lot of creativity and forward direction, okay? Feels really, really, really good. Feels really good. You know, I'm hearing, if any of you guys know Scorpios, or if you've have Scorpio in your chart, one of your primary placements, or you have you know, Scorpio in your atmosphere that you know well, I would think about them, and no shade, like, you know, I'm Scorpio moon, I know all about the darker side of Scorpio energy, but think about your Scorpio that you know on their worst day. And then think about what makes them feel better. There's something in that for you. There's something in that for you. I feel like that's the medicine, okay? Allow yourself to step into that Scorpio energy. Really, you know, Scorpios also have a reputation, much like Aquarians, of being secretive, but they're not really secretive. They're private. And it's a sort of a very VIP admission. Like if a Scorpio lets you into their life and in their heart, it is a high honor, because that is a privilege that they are only afforded to a few. Truly, and if you know Scorpios, you know that that's right. You're being asked to take on some of that energy and allow yourself to sit within that for the purpose, though. It's purposeful. It's not just indulgent, you know, I'm gonna like be in my own energy and go over here and like sit and just like, you know, while away the day, but if you want to live your life, right, go with the flow. Whatever this is, it's going to lead to something bigger, even if you can't see it in the moment. But really the point of purpose of this is to sit and get clear on some things and move forward in terms of setting up your future and your future reality and what that looks like, okay? So allow yourself that. Magician with the death key. Well, I mean, Scorpios are just all over here, though. So this is Scorpio energy with the death key. This is the complete ending of something before the new reemerges. The fact that this is the magician here, this is exactly what we've been talking. Literally what I just said, apply it to this. Okay? Oh, hello, seagulls. All the new sound effects, y'all. I mean, it's a new reality over here for the summer. It's exactly what I just said, okay? Scorpio energy, taking that on and in. Feels really productive. You know, also see how they look. It's kind of two Hierophant energies here as well. You're really being asked to consider what is in your highest and best and what is the right path forward for you. Okay, the Hierophant. Literally? Do we have Ace of Excuse me. Do we have Ace of Pentacles here? Big idea, big money. This is you as your earth sign self with the Hierophant. What have we literally been talking about setting up your future and considering what is in your highest and best good moving forward? And for those that you love, leaving your mark on the world. What am I here to do? The next great American novel, the next hit song, the next invention, the next whatever it is, right? App even. It's Ace of Pentacles. Also, you see this castle on a hill? You really are thinking in terms of the long term and setting yourself up in a way that you know, is on a sturdy and even foundation. But Ace of Pentacles, when that comes up, everything is about to be exactly how it's, I mean, when I tell you that you're being set up, but this is coming from you though. This is not, I don't get a feeling of like, you know, sometimes, especially when the star key comes up, you know, that can be an energy of like bloop, like karmic reward, like bloop, bippity boppity boop. Like suddenly all of this abundance is coming your way. And you may not have done anything, you know, technically in this lifetime to move it about. It just seems to have fallen in your lap, but it's karmic from past lives that you've accrued. No, this is coming from you and your own personal efforts, your ideas, your movements, realigning and aligning with your own energy. I'm also hearing to release how you've done things before, at least during this time, and allow yourself, and I use the word indulge very deliberately here because I feel like for some of you guys it might feel like indulging, right? But really allow yourself to go at a slower or a different pace to which you're normally accustomed to, because there's actual gold in it for you. This is big money offers, agreements. I do see contracts for some of you. Some of you guys might be offered, you know, contracts for in whatever context that may be, but contracts in general, home contracts, work contracts, anything of that ilk. Okay? Endorsement deal. I just heard endorsement deal. Nine of Pentacles. Okay, you can't make it up. Ten of Pentacles. I will hold for reaction. Can I get a sip of my drink here because I just put out the Ten of Pentacles for you? That just happened. Happy home, family, legacy. I'm repeating myself. See all the different generations here? And your little dog too, Dorothy. Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. This is exactly what we've been talking about. Take this time on your own. Take this time to be in your own energy. Consider your legacy and future and best movement forward. Leaving your mark on the earth. What are you here to do? What is your point of soul purpose? And it is setting you up. It's going to be a boop, 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 drippity doop, doop, doop into the Ten of Pentacles. Okay? Capricorn, way to be in alignment. I want to say way to be. Okay, get yourself a slice of banana cream pie or whatever your zhuzh is, a bag of jelly beans, or, you know, I don't know, kombucha, whatever works for you, because it really feels like you're in such a beautiful place and point of position. I also want to put something out. On Grandpa's tunic here, there's little grapes right here. This is a different deck. Little grapes right here, as is mirrored by the grapes in the Nine of Pentacles. You know, that has a lot to do with harvest. Bacchus. Okay, fine. Bacchus. God of wine and the party. You know, it's about, you know, Bacchus represents entering into the wild unknown. And kind of losing what's head and going to this place of ecstasy and just completely losing track of time and space. Coming out of that experience. You know, with some true flippant perspective and needed break. Allow this change, this break, this time to yourself, this solitude, even if you have to manufacture it. And this may look different. This is going to be different for everyone. This could be you committing to taking an hour every morning to sit down and journal and then take a walk listening to music. Like, it doesn't have to be you shutting away yourself in like a, you know, a garage or like a she shed, as it were. I just saw she shed to, like, you know, like sit and stare out the window and, you know, wait for the, you know, the inspiration to come. Your intuition is guiding you around this. Just go with what feels right. You know, the way that the counter energy to what we're picking up on in terms of this opportunity, the counter energy to this is obligation. So if anything feels like an obligation, that is spirit nudging you another way. Okay? Oh, but I just saw 22 on the timer. Oh, but I always run 3 miles and then I go in and I read the news and then I go over the numbers for the next quarter and then I do this and then I go to the garden and then I get groceries for like, really observe yourself within that. You're being asked to allow this change up just for now because it's leading you to a big ticket item here that's setting you up for the long far off future. So just something to consider. Okay? All right. Let's get a winged messenger. Okay. I can't, but I will. You got the Raven. I'm so obsessed. The Raven. The universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. Yeah. I feel like this is right on the money. I want to talk about something too. The Raven is also, did you know that the Raven can tell the future? Okay, energetically speaking, the Raven is associated with foresight, which we were speaking of. But actually, like actual ravens, they are one of the few, if not only, birds that can actually plan for the future, which makes them very unique and different. So you've got the one bird that can actually plan for the future coming up in a reading about planning for the future. Synchronicities as well, of course, you know, but of course. I love this, Capricorns. I just feel like leaving it here because it's just too good and I really love it. But again, notice important synchronicities. In order to notice something, you got to slow down. Nine of Pentacles. Be in the moment, right? Obsessed. Okay. Love it. So, Capricorn, this was your first half of July. I'm going to go out on this lovely lawnmower of a sound cue. Or actually it's a leaf blower. Anyhow. I so hope that this helped and resonated. If so, would you do me a favor and let me know in the comments below I love hearing from y'all. It's my favorite part. I just love reading through the comments. Please let me know how you are, what's going on, what's good, and just thank you. I want to thank you very, very much for being here, for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. The support from you Capricorns has been really brilliant along the way, more so than I would say the majority of other signs. It's you guys have really stood out for me in terms of your support and the quality and sincerity of your comments. So I got to give you a little extra love for that, Capricorns. And with that being said, as always, and most of all, thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.